Getting your emails past spam filters and into your users' inboxes is becoming increasingly difficult. Whether you own a website, an app, or custom software, you need to reliably send emails without worrying about delivery. Mailgun is a user-friendly and reliable email delivery service that I use for all my clients' websites, as well as my own. Its owner company, Sinch, is headquartered in Stockholm, Sweden, but bear in mind that the operations of Mailgun is located in San Antonio, Texas. When setting up your mail delivery, you're presented with the option to choose a region, either North America or Europe. Mailgun promises that message data is tied to your region of choice and never leaves the region that it is processed by. In this quick step-by-step tutorial, I will go through how to set up Mailgun in two ways. First, I'll connect Mailgun to a WordPress website using an API key. Secondly, I'll show you how to connect to Mailgun using SMTP credentials. You can get a long way with a free plan, which sends up to 100 mails each day. However, if you need more domains, you will either have to purchase a subscription or set up a separate free account. I'll go through my most efficient setup, which only takes about 10 minutes. Okay, let's get started. Okay, so we arrived here at Mailgun, and let's just get started creating an account. And bear in mind that if you click here on Start for Free, then you're actually starting a trial period for a paid plan. So instead, I actually recommend you go here to Pricing, and then you click down here on Try for Free. All right, I'll just fill out my information. Okay, I'm not a robot. Okay, and I've actually just verified my email address, so I end up here on the dashboard screen. And the first thing I want to do is simply go here to Send, and then start with Domains, and I'll add a new domain. Okay, and here it suggests mg.domain.com, and this is the preferred method. I recommend this as well. So I will simply enter mg.webdev.how, which is my testing domain. I'm in the EU, so it makes sense to select that. And down here under advanced settings, you can change the key length to double here, but bear in mind that some shared hosting actually has a limit on key length. So oftentimes I also just end up picking the standard one. So this is absolutely fine. We'll just click Add Domain. Okay, so next we need to set up our DNS records. Bear in mind that we have two what's called sending records, and these are text records. Then we have the receiving records, which are MX. And then we lastly have a CNAME record for tracking. So what you simply want to do here is open up your DNS administration for your domain. And in this case, I'm using simply.com, but you can use any other hosting provider. That's no problem at all. Then simply open up Add DNS Record. And then first off, we'll select text. And next, I will simply copy the host here, and I will set that into the name field, it's called here, but it might also be called host or host name in your DNS. And of course, we need to copy the value. So we just click the copy button, and then we insert the value right here and click Create New DNS Record. All right, and we have one more. So let's just go ahead again, select text, copy the host, paste that in, copy the value. And bear in mind that if you heard that you can't have more than one SPF record on each domain, then that is almost true, but it actually is allowed to have an extra SPF record when you're using a subdomain. So the subdomain SPF does not collide with the main domain SPF. So that's a long way of saying that you can safely continue here. Okay, next we have the MX record. So I will select that and I will copy again. And I'll actually just continue with this. But bear in mind that this time we actually have, besides the value here, we have priority. And you can see that 10 is the number we need. So I'll just keep that and create the record. All right, one more. Okay. And the final tracking record, which is a CNAME. So we'll just go ahead and add a CNAME here. And you can see we have the EU server for this one. All right, so create. And now they are all created. We can see them right here, text and text, the two MX records, and we have the CNAME right here. One last step is actually to enable DMARC, which is an extra layer of security. And for that reason, I recommend enabling DMARC. So we'll just click the button, and now we just get an extra text record to add. So we'll just go ahead and add that one as well. And last but not least, we can click on Verify. And bear in mind that DNS records can take quite a while to update. But let's just have a look and see what happens here. And I can actually see that everything is properly set up already. So that's really nice. The only thing missing is the DMARC, which will probably sort itself out. It just needs a little more time. And we can also go over here to domains and have a look, and it gives us a notice that this domain is active. So the next step is to create an API key. And we do that up here under sending keys, and we'll just add a key. And this one I want to set up for my website. So I'll just write that. And then I can copy this key right here. And bear in mind that this key is only displayed once. So it's of course a good idea to save it somewhere. For the next step, I want to set this up on a website. And in this case, I'm using WordPress. And I'm using a plugin called WP Mail SMTP. And here I have the option to choose a mailer. And for this, I'll just click Mailgun. And then I can set up my information here. So I'll start by copying in the API key. Then I will write the domain, and remember to write the MG subdomain first. Choose the same region that you chose earlier. And now we can simply save the settings, and we're ready for the next step, which is testing. Actually, one step before testing, I just want to point out that it's very important that your from email includes your domain name. So if there's a mismatch between your sender domain and your from email address, then oftentimes spam filters will actually stop your email from sending. So just double check that your from email actually matches the domain name that you're sending from. All right, so now we're ready for the test. And this is fine. I'll just send to my email address. And it says success with the SPF and the DKIM, but the DMARC is still not set up, but that should update itself very soon. And as you can see here, the test mail did in fact arrive, and we can always go back here to Mailgun and have a look at the domain, and we can see here that it has a delivery rate of 100%, so everything should be in order. So now I want to try and set up Mailgun with SMTP instead. And for this purpose, we'll just go back to the domain settings and we'll choose SMTP credentials instead. I'll add a new SMTP user, And for this, I'm setting this up with MailPoet, so it makes sense just to write this in here as the login, and it'll have the @mg.webdev.how afterwards. And password creation, we'll just leave this as recommended. Okay, so I'll just make sure to save this and continue. All right, so that is set up. So now I just need to insert my information. And here you can see I'm using MailPoet, and I'll simply start by inserting my credentials. So the login is the email address. I'll of course insert my password here. And for SMTP hostname, I'll insert this right here. And for the port, well, this can be tricky, but I found that for MailPoet at least, or for this WordPress site, the best port is 25 without a secure connection, but of course with authentication. So I'll just go ahead and send a test email, and it says here, yeah, the email has been sent, so that's a very good sign. And I'll just have a look, of course. And here we go. I got the email, so that is a success. Now bear in mind that setting up with SMTP can be quite a battle, and it can be necessary for you to test out a variety of ports. And you can also click down here to get a little bit more information about the ports and what types of connection that will get your emails sent out. So I hope this gives you a realistic impression of how to set up Mailgun. This is it for this video. If you liked it, please give it a thumbs up. If you loved it, feel free to subscribe for more content like this.